Today I'm going to share with you my tips for beginner runners. As you know, before I started running, all I did was walk for my exercise, which is great. Walking is awesome. But in my running experience so far, I've learned some things that I wanted to share with you guys. The first thing is I always run on an empty stomach. I have tried to run eating a half a banana or a little something before, a small breakfast, but I found that it absolutely is so much better to run on an empty stomach. First of all, you're going to burn more fat because you're going to burn off your glucose stores and get into those fat stores. So that's important, but also you're just going to feel lighter and better when you're running. So definitely run on an empty stomach. The second tip that I have for you is to take a sip of water for each mile that you're going to run before you leave. So if I'm going to run for 2 miles, I'll take a nice big sip of water 2 times so that I have enough fluid in my system to run. Also, I do chew gum while I run, especially if I'm going to run 2 or more miles, because it kind of helps to just keep that saliva going down your throat. I usually chew a xylitol gum. I know it's not the best thing for you, but it's better than some of the other gums out there. Also, make sure that you have good running shoes. I started out with Brooks, which were great for me at first, but I actually had some problems with my knees and it didn't feel good. And so I decided that I wanted to go with more of a zero drop shoe, meaning the shoe, the actual bottom of the shoe doesn't increase at all. It's just completely flat across. They call that zero drop. And so I found this brand through other friends that wore them called ALTRAs, and they are awesome. They have a zero drop, but the stack or the height size on mine are 17 millimeters, so they're not super tall, but they're also not flat like a minimalist shoe like my husband and my son wear. They wear really, really flat shoes. They can feel the pavement. But what I found is when I started running with these Ultras that I wasn't having any problems at all with my legs. I never come home feeling bad. It's just, they're awesome. Also, try to run at your own pace. You do not need to run fast. People told me that over and over and over, and I really did take their advice. I run just a little bit faster than when I do a fast walk, and it helps me to get through longer runs, which I think are important because the longer you go, ultimately the longer you go, the more time you have at burning fat. So I want to try to run as long as my body will let me go, or as long as my brain is allowing me to go. So I highly recommend running at a speed that feels comfortable for you and staying at that speed consistently. And then each time you go out, you usually kick it up a notch and you usually get better and better just because your body is naturally improving. Also, try to run somewhere with a great environment. As you saw the videos before, I have a beautiful trail in the area where I live, and I love to run through there. It's all concrete, but at least it's there's trees on either side, and there's a beautiful creek, and several bridges that you can cross, and I just love that. It helps to kind of make the time go faster, but also you're out in nature and it just feels good. It's so much better than going to a school track where you're just going around and around in circles or being on your treadmill. So try to find a park or somewhere where you really enjoy the atmosphere. Also, I recommend using a program like Couch to 5K or using a speed program like Runtastic or Strava or one of those. Couch to 5K is great because it starts you off with a running, jogging pattern that makes it really easy to kind of build up. And then in time, eventually it has you just running or jogging, whatever you're able to do, until ultimately you can run 3 miles. And if I can do it at 51 years old, anybody can do it. So I highly recommend Couch to 5K. That's by Active, and they also have some free programs. That one costs a few bucks, but you can get a free version of that. And then also I use Runtastic. So now and before, when I used to walk, I always used Runtastic. I really like it because you can post it to Facebook and you can see how far you're going, what your average is, and all the stats that you want to know. I've never used Strava, but I know a lot of people like Strava. There are several other apps like that, so I highly recommend those. Other than that, I think those are my main tips. Just get out there and try it. Just see how you do. I really recommend starting with something like Couch to 5K because it just goes in really small increments and it makes you feel like you can do it. I have several people in my life right now who are using the program and everybody's able to do it. So if they can do it and I can do it, you can do it.